And that's not dead, but what happened was we just wanted Martinsville, or they did. I didn't have the money to put any risky stuff on that. But they had some good people, really good people. Former editor of the Mooresville paper, Randy Haymaker, and there's some good folks. Well, anyway, they went to Gannett and said, we'd like to, they handled, oh yeah, they wanted to hand us the whole enchilada. More than we had, I mean, the publishing side of it, I mean, 4 or 5 newspapers, more than, they're out. They want to get out of this, and of course, that group wasn't prepared to take over that. I mean, I don't know where they are right now. But
Have you seen Dan? I've not even seen him.
something, because we need it. And
Was he?
Advantage is, people don't know enough to what's going on to raise hell. And that's. Yeah, but that's not good. I'm gonna start a thing, first of the year with one of the guys on the council. We're gonna do, it's called Coffee with the County, and just on the Saturdays, go meet it. Anybody.
You ready, Mr. Dan?
We'll have to tell them to be kind and courteous.
That's
We'll do it
good.
in Martinsville, Mooresville, Monrovia, so we'll start poking around. It'll probably be once a month to start with. We might jump
We're
it up
live
to once
already.
every 2 weeks, so. Yeah, because they don't know what's going on. And most people, like 2 years from now, if I'm still healthy, which I plan on being, I'm gonna run again, and he'll run again. But a lot of people think we run against each other. We don't. He's got a district, I've got a district, but they see both our names out there for commission, and they don't know. So, who do I vote for? Collier or Adams? Well, vote for both of them, buddy.
Is that what you call going home?
Darn. Oh my God, Kenny.
If it's not too fun.
Noise is coming out everywhere.
This isn't very, this won't make, you can't go to 7-Eleven. I know. We will try to figure out some more. Well, anything to recognize gift is always something I would like to do, so. You're gonna be here, so. Good.
I was gonna have so much fun. I'd like to welcome everybody to the last Commissioners meeting for 2022. If you'd all stand for Pledge of Allegiance and prayer, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we just want to give you all the thanks, all the praise, all the honor that you so rightly deserve, dear Father. Want to acknowledge you as being the great creator of this universe, Lord. We thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, and that terrible price that he paid for us on that cross. But we are so thankful for that, and we can never thank you enough for that. And we can never sing your praises enough for that. We thank you, Jesus. We thank you for the Holy Spirit. We ask you, please keep guiding us in all that we do throughout the end of this little bit left in this year, but guide us in 2023, Lord, as we get ready to start a new year. Please be with all of our men and women, whether they're in the military, protecting our freedom here as this greatest country ever on the world, Lord, or whether it's local here with fire, police, ambulance, Lord. We just ask that you give them that shield of protection. Pour out that wisdom and knowledge on us, Lord, and thank you for just being a part of your vine, and let us just keep being your vessel and shining through for you. We ask it all in your precious name, Jesus. Amen. First order of business, you've seen there's no minutes in the pack, so we're going to move right into appointments. I have got most of them contacted, and I was going to run down through them. I know it's in your packs, just black and white with no highlights on them, if you gentlemen are comfortable with that.
What are you asking me if I'm comfortable with?
Going to the appointments.
I thought we were gonna do that.
We can put it off if you want to. I already
I'd
talked to
rather
most
put
of
it
them.
off because I
Okay.
haven't talked to anybody.
Not a
Have
problem.
you got everybody covered?
Not everybody, but I got 90% of them.
Good. Well, let's talk about it and we'll just put that on the next agenda
Not a
so we can do it
problem.
all at once.
Josh, the 2020-1, 2020-2, the response to the public emergency caused by the coronavirus outbreak. You have both ordinances in your pack. I don't know if you need to address or want to address the board.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Ordinance 2020-2 really is just included for reference because it references the first ordinance. But the first ordinance did a number of things, but the biggest one, and what I think we're really addressing today, is it gives employees an extra 2 weeks of COVID leave. New employees. Everybody else who's been here has most likely already exhausted their time. We don't feel like it's been abused lately, but we also feel like, as a nation, we've moved on. We have lots of opportunities. We have sick leave. I don't know that we still need an additional 2 weeks of leave for every employee related to COVID. But this was not, we didn't intend when this ordinance was written that there's two provisions to make this sunset. Both the state and the federal health emergency are revoked, and this would have automatically sunset. We didn't anticipate that the feds would continue to renew that over and over again. So the question is, do we want to take action to revoke this ordinance, or do we want to continue to wait until the feds do it? And that's really what's the question before you all.
Any questions for Josh? As far as myself, I'm in favor of sunsetting both of them myself. But
I'll
that's just
se-
me.
I'll second that motion.
It wasn't a form of a motion, but,
I just made it one.
okay. We got a motion and a second. Any further questions from the board?
That I would make is that, like, I know two other employers that sunset these well over a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
So we were more than generous in extending it.
Any other comments from the audience? Last chance. Not hearing none. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. You got your 2023, 2024 capital outlay plan in front of you for the lid. If there's no questions on that, I'd entertain a motion on that as well.
Take a chance before I get somebody that's doing it ahead of me. I'll make a motion to go ahead and approve the lit capital improvement plan. Looks good to me.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Adams to approve the 2023, 2024 capital improvement plan for the Morgan County local income tax. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Collier. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. You got your ore protection proposal. Actually, I'm sorry. You've got your Cockett Company first. No, it's after it. I'm sorry. The ore protection proposal for the 911 center. The caulking estimate to follow that is going to be on that as well. I've got mine out of order. Anybody have any questions for, I'm not seeing Scotty here or Josh on that.
Saw Scotty earlier, and I think he was just in here dipping into our coffee, but
Yeah, I can cover this real quickly. I'm
One without the other.
right. I think he presented this at your last meeting. This is, or we at least discussed the encumbrance. This is the quote for the fire suppression system for the IT room. Because of the type of system it is, it's a chemical system. The room has to hold positive pressure. So in talking with, I believe he said he spoke with Charlie Fraker, it's going to be required that all the caulking that, for all the seams in the plywood, everything has to be fire caulk. And so both of these are for us to be able to get the proposal signed, to get the project moving, and to encumber the work.
Any questions for Josh?
nope, approve, move to approve.
Got a motion by Mr. Adams to approve the ore protection proposal, or both, Don? The caulking too that goes along with it?
He wants both of them.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We got a motion and a second to approve the oil protection proposal as well as the caulking estimate. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Josh. Chaplain Service Professional Agreement. I know there was a little bit of a raise in there, about 4,000. That wasn't done at budget time. Other than that, it looked like it's all pretty much the same, and I have not had a chance to talk to George, but I just wanted to,
Well, I've been thinking about it, been talking a little bit about it. I think the timing's wrong for the 4,000 right now, and I think we can take it out of professional services that we have, and then tell them to be sure and come back at budget time and make that fit with the budget, instead of trying to go back and
Approve the contract, but keep it at 36,000, is that what you're saying?
add the 4,000 that they're requesting through our professional services.
oh,
We
he's
keep the
approving it.
contract, we go ahead and give them the 4,000 because I think they deserve it. We're getting a lot of good reports from EMS and all that. And then it's,
I would, okay, but I would have thought that should have been at budget time.
I think
So
it should
I'm in
be.
favor of renewing the $36,000 contract. The other four would have to be 2024 after going from the council and presenting it at that time. I don't want, as a commissioner, to give a $4,000 raise. I think that's the council and WIS and everything else that, I think that's stepping on their toes. I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying I think that should have been done.
At budget time.
yeah, it probably should have, but I don't know that, I see your thought.
It's nothing personal. I get along with George great.
No, I
mean,
do
and I
too.
think he does a great job. The semantics of government, I think, I'm not comfortable doing that. I'm comfortable with renewing the contract at 30.
36.
Okay.
Is that in the form of a motion? Did you already start to make a motion, Don, or not? Did you already start to make a motion, Don?
No, I haven't made
You done?
anything. I'm just
You putting that in the
jabbered.
form of a motion, Mr. Collier?
Brian Kyer makes a motion that we approve the contract at 36,000.
We got a motion to approve the chaplain service professional agreement in the amount of 36,000. I'll second the motion. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0.
And then somebody just needs to tell him, since he's not elected,
I
he
will
can
call
do
him.
an ordinance, salary ordinance change or a contract change, but that needs to go, I'd like the blessing of the council first.
You got an enterprise fleet management for one of the highway trucks, or it is a Board of Health, I am so sorry. Entertain a motion on that one as well.
Brian Kyer makes a motion that we accept the proposal from Enterprise on the Board of Health's vehicle.
We got a motion to accept a proposal by Enterprise. I'll second the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Josh. I even had BOH there beside it, and I still was calling it highway. Mr. Collier, groundwater study, you got an update for us, I hear?
I'm like, indifferent. Progress is going, and we're also trying to join forces with some counties to the north that are going in, and their study and their concerns are our concerns. They were excited to know that someone from the southern end of the Marion County area is just as concerned about all this water that's going to be utilized in a county up north, Boone County. And they're worried about stripping their reserves. And some of the information that I got in this conversation with this gentleman is very alarming. We started a water study that I was very excited about. I tell everybody, you know, we are, especially here, Martinsville's known as the mineral city, artisans, and this study should have been probably started 10 years ago, because some of the things that they're trying to do, we get a lot of, the river water is reclaimed water through the Belmont plant up in Indianapolis, and there's some movements trying to have that water be diverted and pumped up north. I could see in the very near future, if a lot of this goes through, a lot of our aquifers dropping.
Oh, absolutely.
Wells are not deep enough, and a lot of our citizens that are on wells could be in big trouble. And there's not a whole lot of legal options. If you own the land and the water's under it, you can pump it and pretty much do with it whatever you want regardless. And I don't think that's right. Moving in with some others will help us pool money to get a little bit more clout, especially if we have to start lobbying for legislation that will protect us. But you talk about opening up a can of worms is, I don't know any other way to say it. I wish we had all our water and our water study completed that we just started 2 months ago. Yeah, so can't happen fast enough. It is, like I said, and then a lot of it depends on the economics of the, as you probably know, Boone County's getting a 7,000 acre development park, and they don't have the water for it. So to get the water, they're going to surrounding counties and surrounding suppliers to get that water, one of which pumps their water out of the northern end of our county. The only other thing that I will say, and I don't know if this is true, and I probably shouldn't say it in my capacity as a commissioner, but I'll say it in my capacity as a Morgan County resident, is that we were looking to, we have economic development coming our way down the I-69 corridor. And within this economic development, we kind of know what the water flow will be needed to service what we're trying to put in. If we get this type of development, it helps offset residential property taxes. It helps offset all kinds of things. Plus, it brings extra amenities right here to Morgan County. But they can't give us water because they don't have the capacity, but apparently the same company has the capacity to ship it all the way up to Boone County. So I'm on the struggle bus with that. If I can substantiate that, I'll be drawing a line in the sand, and I'll be asking the citizens of Morgan County to get behind me on that because that's our water. But I can't prove it yet. I'm working on it. So yes, this water study is real. This water study should have, can't happen fast enough, and we need to get help, and everybody needs to get concerned. Josh, you want to add something? Because he was privy to the meeting.
So I'll add to that one of the things Brian and I are asking this morning is for approval to join forces with the communities that he's talked about. There's a study that they're doing in conjunction with DLZ and a few other entities. It'd be Madison County, Hamilton County, and Marion County. They have invited us to be part of this. It's looking not at the water study we're talking about, which is still important and still necessary, but what happens if we can make adjustments upstream of where we are. Yeah. And so they've invited us to join them for $50,000. The EDC is covering half of it. We have encumbered the other half, pending your guys' approval for us to join forces with them today. Yeah. And so we're asking for approval to join them so that we can try and lobby our forces together and stop.
Yeah. And I don't have a problem with it, Josh. We even reached out to Murtaugh and Tippecanoe because I know they're going to be drastically affected as well.
We've been told that they are also equally concerned, but they have not joined forces with this group. Okay. I think they're with some other surrounding communities that are in a different watershed.
Yeah, okay. I know I was talking to him at conference. I know he was very concerned. So.
I think before it's all said and done, a lot of the counties are kind of doing their own thing, but before it's all said and done, since the projects that's needing the water so much is state-driven, I have a feeling that counties will end up uniting in the end.
I would think so. And I know it's going to grow to about 12,000 acres as well. It's old area, got 7,000. It's growing. So.
Correct.
Go ahead and entertain a motion on this encumbrance that we have on this study. This time? Move forward with the contract.
I'm very passionate about it. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second to go ahead and approve the contract to partner with the 3 counties mentioned earlier. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Josh.
I'd just like to remind the citizens, too, they told me this was a part-time job. Their offices are closed today?
You've actually got your claims. I've not had a chance to look at them yet. Dan, is there any holds or anything?
You have no claims today. That's
Oh, next
Tuesday.
meeting,
That's
okay.
next meeting.
Oh, sorry. Good deal. So we're down to, we're gonna be doing the December 22 road resurfacing bid at the January 17th meeting.
Get the county seal. Are you gonna address that?
Deal.
You,
Yep, right here. Thank you, Deb and Dan, on that. Morgan County seal, I'm gonna go ahead and let Mr. Adams talk about this, because I know he had been working with Mr. Steve Dodds getting this done, so turn it over to you, sir.
Well, thank you. I don't want to make a complete long history of the event here, but when I first became a commissioner 12 years ago, we had no logo, nor did we have a seal. I ran a contest, and we found a wonderful designer, and he has provided us with the logo that we have. And you have copies, I think, of but they're all over our equipment. And there's a vertical version and a horizontal version of the logo. And it's a very beautiful and very recognizable and very professional looking logo. Well, when we started the bot project for our judicial center, we were informed that there was going to be a place for a seal on the, in what will become Bicentennial Park. And it's very appropriate that we make a seal during the bicentennial year. And we tried several ideas, and we'll go through all of them, but it finally became very apparent that we already had a seal that was just called a logo, and we'll just add a little thing on the bottom that says established in 1822, and we'll have a seal. And so this is the official ordinance that makes this come into play. And you have a picture there of what the seal will look like in Bicentennial Park. And I won't go through all the whereases, but it's pretty much, it'll replace the seal that we've had probably since the 19th century that has an animal on it that I always enjoy pointing out, I guess, and make some comments on it. But this seal is something that will live long beyond us, I hope another 200 years. And I appreciate the work that's been done and the design and the creativity that we are looking at and the attractiveness it makes for this county. So I would certainly make a motion that we approve this ordinance establishing that seal for Morgan County, ordinance 2022-20.
We got a motion by Mr. Adams to approve the ordinance establishing the official seal for Morgan County. I'll second the motion. Any further questions from the board?
I'd just like to thank Commissioner Adams for helping to coordinate this and putting the time into this. And
It was a
Drafting
great deal
it.
of pleasure involved in that.
Yep,
Thank you.
Yep, and I hope you're right. It'd be neat if 200 years from now, they'll sit there saying, well, I don't remember the guy's name, but
We'll try to make sure they
a lot of
remember.
funny stories.
Are you talking about Mr. Dodge? I hope they remember Mr. Dodge. I don't care about me so much.
All those in favor of the motion, go ahead and signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Dodd. Appreciate it.
Are you all suspending the rules to pass that on the first reading?
I
I'd
would
like to
enter-
suspend the rules and let her happen.
I'll second the motion to suspend the second reading.
Got a motion and a second to suspend the second reading on the Morgan County seal. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. request for Deb transfer letter. I don't see that in my pack. I'm sorry. Two of them. Actually, the commissioners are requesting transfer of $82 from juvenile detention account into the juvenile indigent fee. The second one is actually the Morgan County Park and Rec. It's actually going from printing and advertising $100 as well as $100 from contractual service. Both of them would go into travel and lodging to cover $120-some shortfall in that account. Entertain a motion individually or combined on the transfer
I'll
letters?
combine all the transfers and make a motion that we approve those and send those on.
Got a
Second.
Motion and a second to go ahead and do both the transfer letters, doing our house cleaning for 2022. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Request for unpaid leave. This is actually for the Board of Health. Cindy's had something that had to come up, and it does have to come before us. She was gonna schedule to induce on the 26th. She went early, and she's actually having complications as well. And she's just asking for our blessing to go ahead and start Monday instead of waiting. So I don't have a problem with it.
Brian Collier makes a motion that we accept this request.
We got a motion by Mr. Collier to approve the request for unpaid leave off, and I'll second the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 3-0. Mr. Adams, for the good of the cause, and then we got something special here at the end.
For the parks here, and I apologize, I don't know if you got to see, let's go back to this, I guess, parks business here.
Yep, bicentennial.
We have a leftover from our bicentennial committee, had a leftover funding of around $7,700. And we would like to see that would be encumbered for another bicentennial project that's in the middle of, but actually it's a log cabin that was donated. Is that correct, Kenny?
Correct.
And by a family of, we're going to put it down at Old Waverly Park. Kind of fits in with all the other parks that we have at that building, or in that location. And the museum committee is involved in working to get that, and going to refurbish. You want to make any comments on that, Mr. French, from the museum committee?
Yep.
Yeah, the cabin was donated to the Morgan County History Center Museum. And I shouldn't say historic cabin, but it's an old cabin that was built by a original Morgan County resident back in the 1800s. And the family has kept pretty good care of it. They restored it somewhat 30 years ago, but now the family, the fellow's getting older and he doesn't want to take care of it anymore, so he wanted to donate it to us. But we don't have facility to place it at, and since we have been working with the parks as far as putting displays at the parks, and we thought, well, if we get that moved down to Waverly, that would fit right in with the early Pioneer theme. And we can use it to also display furniture and household wares, even exterior equipment from the History Center. We can display it there, and we think it'll be a good thing for visitors to the park. And as the commissioners, you guys are also the park directors, so we have to clear it with you folks on that. It does take some money to move it over there, but the Bicentennial Committee has about $7,000 that'll help with that. At least pay for all the materials to build a new floor and get it moved, and equipment and things like that. Yeah. So that's where we're at on that.
And I'll just go ahead and add a little bit there for Darrell as well. The cabin's a pretty small cabin, really in pretty nice shape though, really. But the bottom round of logs is gonna need to be replaced. really need to take it up 2 rounds of logs. We do have some logs already up there that will work. Most of these logs are anywhere from 19 inches to 21 inches, I believe, on the lower rounds. But it would be something that would be put on skids runners. That way it can be moved.
Put on what?
Skids,
Okay.
that way it can be moved. That's how we can go ahead and put it several places if we would need to or want to. FEMA deed restrictions don't allow permanent structures without going through Homeland Security and FEMA. By being a portable structure, that eliminates us from doing a lot of headaches and trying to do it, so. And I've already talked to Ashley as well up there at Homeland Security SHPO, so. But that would be the intent, would be to have it on skids runners. That way we could just go ahead and change that and we could move it around as well, so.
When we say skid, we're talking about 8 by 8, 16-foot-long treated beams
Yes.
with a heavy spruce floor built on top of that, and then remounting the cabin to the top of that. So we could take a heavy piece of equipment and move it
Yeah.
to a higher ground or wherever we want to in the park. That way it's portable.
It'd be a nice project to wrap up. The Bicentennial Committee approved that the money would be able to be used by, I mean, this has been already in our minutes that we would like to see the cabin in the bicentennial year using the bicentennial money. So we have I have the cost to move it, and I think we should proceed to go ahead and get this taken care of so we can add more. Pretty soon, we're going to be like, well, we don't want to go to Spring Mill, we'll just go to Waverly Park, you know?
I think it'd be a good thing for visitors to the park, both our county residents and non-residents, so it'll be a great thing. I don't believe we have an original log cabin right now anywhere, and this would certainly be the first
yeah.
maybe for that.
Yeah, and it's really neat. It's small, but it's really a nice, neat cabin. So.
I'm glad to see that happen, and
Above it. I'm just glad Kenny got up to speed on the park stuff.
I'm slowly getting there.
Explain that a whole lot more.
thank you, Darrell. I move to go ahead and proceed with this and encumber the money so that they can get that project moving.
We got a motion by Mr. Adams to encumber the bicentennial money that's left in the account for next year. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Collier. Any other questions from the board or from the audience? Not hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Now, Mr. Adams, for the good of
Real quick, before we go to the good, we've got some important and great news on Bot 2 in the financing.
So I'll start, and Commissioner Collier will probably put a bow on it. As Commissioner Adams mentioned, this is our 200th year, and as you all are aware, and a lot of the community is aware at this point, we've been figuring out how to best reinvest in ourselves and continue to help make this county have the ability to govern smoothly. And so, as you know, we've got a parking lot that's being built across the street. We've been working through the pieces to get the new judicial center to be built next spring. And I'm happy to say that at 9:49, we are officially closed with all of our financing. And so we will be breaking ground, and we'll continue this process that you guys have helped us with. I'd led the charge on, and that the council has supported along the way. So just wanted to
It's
share
20
that at the end of
minutes
the year.
hot. That news is 20 minutes hot. We're done before the end of the year.
And we got our budget then.
Yeah.
Our budget was being held up on that, for that. And
Really?
I've been looking at that. Yeah, if you're closing a bond at year end, they have to wait till the bond actually closes, make sure nothing changes and.
I didn't realize that.
I emailed them about 8:30 this morning, told them that nothing changes, and a little bit before 9, I got our budget from DLGF. And I've been looking at it here. And I'm getting ready to send this to DLGF, tell them it's okey-dokey.
Such good news.
Anything else for the good of the cause?
2 other events. One of them, where are they?
Right here. I'll let you do one, I'll do the other one.
That'd be fine. You want to start?
I'll
I
let
can
you go
start.
ahead and start with yours.
All right. I mentioned earlier, when I first came on board as commissioner some years ago, we were unbranded and had been operating under, I guess you'd say the same way we've been operating for maybe 100 years. And the only thing I felt like we needed to get started with was a contest to get a new logo. And so I ran a contest, and I thought every kid in Morgan County and every person that had any interest and had a pen in their hand thought we had to have corn in Morgan County. And so I was getting kind of dejected, and all of a sudden in my mailbox, I walked into the office, and there was this design by Mr. Steve Dodge. And that is, as you see on all, I didn't wear our logo is all over the county, and it will be there for another 100 years or 200 years. And so I'd like to read this. It says, early Indiana leaders found great inspiration in the life and deeds of Daniel Morgan, General Daniel Morgan, who volunteered to serve his country repeatedly in the Revolutionary War and believing that he could contribute to the successful pursuit of principles. General Morgan has served as an appropriate inspiration for Morgan County's name and for its citizens down through to this day. He was an effective leader who inspired his men to lead in successive pursuit of difficult goals. General Morgan suffered injury and yet returned to battle even when his health was poor. General Morgan was a hard and tireless worker and one of the best field commanders in the American Army. He followed his record of war successes by turning to participation in in the new established democracy of his nation, and was elected to serve in the term in the House of Representatives. His record is heroic, and those who have come to live in the community of his namesake county have inherited his heroism. General Morgan has been blessed with the many people who have been, Morgan County has been blessed with many people who have leaders in service and heroes in helping their fellow citizens, frequently toiling in the quiet humility, motivated only to improve the lot of their communities and their fellow citizens. I'd like to repeat that. Quiet humility, motivated only to improve the lot of their communities and their fellow citizens. Morgan County Board of Commissioners recognizes these great leaders for their good works and desire to recognize and call on them as valuable resources in the county. Accordingly, the Board of Commissioners, having established the Society of General Morgan, whose members are the best in the county, who do the best for the county, hereby named Steve Dodge as a member of the Society of General Morgan on this 30th day of December 2022. I applaud you.
Steve,
Come on up.
come on up, Steve. You getting a picture, Josh?
I'll say if you've ever worked with Steve, diligence and humility are a part of it. And it's always a pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the contributions. I didn't have a fancy training, I will for you.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it, sir.
Congratulations.
With all my friends. Been in politics as long as I have, you sit down here with all your friends.
We have one more, and I'm not going to read completely all of it. Another inductee into the Society of General Morgan. He is also a true leader, an effective leader. He's going to be departing us here, going in retirement, and I hate to see that because he is a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience, and he can also keep Mr. Collier in line. That's a big one. Very good job of it. Maybe not 100%, but he does a very good job of it. But Dan, you are a tireless worker. You are definitely what I call a true public servant.
Thank you.
I mean, you've done Morgan County and also your years with the state done us well, and I just want to present that to you as well, sir.
Thank you
I
very
hate
much.
to see you leaving us. God, you're awesome.
I won't be a stranger. Thank you.
We've got you also something else that you might, you and Pam enjoy.
Oh, we will enjoy that. Well, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
I'm very honored, very, very honored.
Gotta work.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I was thinking when he called you a public servant, I've called you a few things, but that wasn't one of them. Don?
Oh, yes.
Oh, you rascal.
Good enough, he'll be here Monday still helping us. He was retiring or Tuesday, we're bringing him right back. Yeah.
Anything else needs to come before the board? Not hearing none, seeing none, all those, or entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll vote for that.
Got a motion, a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you
Have a
all for
happy new
coming
year.
out.